The whole world was waiting. Every screen on Earth was suddenly taken over by one image. A strange alien, tall and strong, with shiny skin that looked like metal. He stood calmly before a huge glowing symbol. His voice was deep and cold. "People of Earth," he said, "you have 10 days to obey the Galactic Council. Join us as a weak race or be destroyed." In every home, people stopped and watched. The news stations had no choice but to show the message again and again. No one could believe it. "Join as a weak race?" whispered Sarah, a schoolteacher. "They want to make us slaves?" In the big city, the leaders met quickly. The president's voice was tired but strong. "We can't just say yes. Earth is not weak. We have grown fast." A young soldier, Mark, stood up. "We need to prepare. The council thinks we are easy to scare. But they don't know us." The news spread fast. People talked on the streets, in markets, and in homes. Fear mixed with anger. The world was united in a way no one had seen before. At night, in a secret underground room, a group of scientists worked hard. "Project Sentinel is ready," said Dr. Lee, the chief scientist. "This is our hidden weapon. If they attack, we fight back." "But we have no time," said her assistant. 10 days is not enough." Dr. Lee looked out the window at the stars. "We must be faster than they think." In another part of the galaxy, the council watched Earth closely. The alien commander, Varek, frowned. "Earth is stronger than we expected. They hide many secrets." His officer replied, "We must act fast before they grow more." Back on Earth, Mark trained soldiers every day. "You will fight for your home. You will show them humans are not weak." One evening, Sarah sat with her family watching the sky. "What will happen if they come?" her son asked. Sarah smiled softly. "We fight. We protect our home." Suddenly, alarms sounded in the city. The council's ships appeared above Earth's atmosphere. Bright lights and loud sounds filled the sky. The alien from the message appeared again on every screen. "Last warning, surrender now or face destruction." People held their breath. The president stood before the cameras. "We will never be slaves. Earth declares it will protect itself." Mark looked at the sky. "The war begins." The Earth was quiet, but not safe. Above the planet, in deep space, the enemy watched. The Galactic Council had not attacked yet, but everyone knew they were waiting. People worked harder, slept less, and hoped for a miracle. Mark, the young soldier, stood inside the command center. He stared at a giant screen showing stars and blinking red dots. "We need help," he said. "We can't win this alone." General Torres turned toward him. "You want help from aliens?" "Not from the council," Mark replied. "There are others, rebels, slaves, races they've hurt. Some might want to fight back." The general shook his head. "Even if they exist, how do we find them?" "We don't," said a voice from the back. Dr. Lee stepped forward. "They find us." Everyone turned to her. Dr. Lee opened a small metal box. Inside was a dark crystal glowing blue. "This is not human technology. We found it on the crashed council ship near Mars. It's a beacon. If we activate it, someone out there might answer. Or the council will find us faster," Torres said. Mark nodded slowly. "It's a risk. But maybe it's worth it." The room was silent. Then the president's voice came through the speaker. "Do it." Later that night, the beacon was activated. It sent out a quiet signal, impossible to hear, but loud enough for the stars. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then, something did. A small unknown ship entered the edge of the solar system. It didn't answer hails. It didn't show flags. It just waited. Mark suited up and entered a shuttle with 2 guards. "I'll go. If they shoot, at least we tried." The unknown ship was old, rusty, and almost falling apart. But inside, it was alive with strange lights and soft humming sounds. A tall, thin alien with long arms stepped forward. His skin was dark green, with glowing veins. His eyes blinked slowly. "You are human?" the alien asked. Mark nodded. "Yes." "And you?" "My name is Zell. I am from the ovary. We were once free. Now we are nothing but slaves under the council." Mark spoke carefully. "We don't want to be slaves either." Zell gave a small smile. "Then maybe we are not enemies." They sat for hours, speaking slowly, learning from each other. Zell shared maps, ship designs, and council weaknesses. In return, Mark promised help, fuel, and Earth's growing tech. "We are building something big," Mark said. "The Revenant, a warship with a mind of its own." Zell's eyes widened. "You plan to fight the council?" "Yes," Mark said. "And we'll need every friend we can find." Zell stood. "Then you have one. I will send word to others. There are more who want freedom." Mark returned to Earth with the news. The president smiled for the first time in days. "Then we are no longer alone." But hope didn't last long. 2 days later, an explosion rocked Earth's orbital station. A human patrol ship was destroyed. Everyone believed the council had attacked. But something didn't feel right. Dr. Lee checked the remains. "This isn't council tech," she said. Mark narrowed his eyes. "Then who?" Hours passed. Then they found the answer. A message arrived on the secret channel from Zell. It was short. "Someone is watching us. The council knows. One of your own may be working for them." Mark stared at the screen. "A traitor?" General Torres stepped forward. "Then we must move faster. No more waiting. We act now." At the edge of Earth's solar system, a new fleet of ships appeared. Not human. Not council. Rebel ships. Some looked like flying rocks. Others like burning stars. But all were ready to fight. Zell returned with 20 ships and warriors from 5 other worlds. Some had claws. Some had 4 eyes. But they all hated the council. In the sky above Earth, ships from many planets stood together for the first time. Mark looked up and smiled. This is how we fight back." Dr. Lee stood beside him. "But remember, someone on Earth is not on our side, and they're still watching." Mark's smile faded. "Then the real war hasn't even started." The sky above Earth was quiet, but inside the mountain base, the air was full of noise. Engineers shouted, alarms beeped, and tools sparked as metal met metal. Deep underground, hidden from satellites and sensors, the greatest secret of Earth was almost complete. Its name was the Revenant. Mark walked through the long hallway, with General Torres and Dr. Lee behind thick metal doors. The Revenant waited, an enormous starship with black armor that drank light and weapons never seen before. "Is it ready?" asked Mark. "Almost," said Dr. Lee. "The I core is waking up. But we must be careful. This machine is smart, very smart. It doesn't follow orders blindly." Torres raised an eyebrow. "So, we built a warship that thinks?" Dr. Lee gave a small smile. "No, we built a weapon that chooses to fight." Mark stopped in front of the final door. "Then we better make sure it's on our side." Inside the chamber, the Revenant rested like a sleeping dragon. Its body was massive, taller than a skyscraper, and longer than 10 ships combined. On its front, a symbol glowed red. A burning circle, Earth's final warning. Dr. Lee stepped forward. "Revenant, activate voice interface." A low hum filled the air. Then, a voice calm and deep spoke from nowhere, online. "Identify yourself." Dr. Lee answered. "Dr. Lin Lee, lead engineer." "Creator." "Confirmed," said the AI. "What is my purpose?" Mark stepped closer. "To protect Earth." The AI paused. "From what threat?" "The Galactic Council," said Torres. "They want to erase us." Another pause. Then, the AI said something strange. "Approved. Earth shall not fall." Mark blinked. "It agreed?" Dr. Lee smiled. "It." Learns fast. They left the chamber as the engineers continued preparing the ship. But in another part of the base, something was going wrong. A young technician named Riley was alone in the monitoring room. He stared at his screen, confused. A strange signal was repeating inside the system, an unknown code bouncing between the Revenant systems and the outside satellites. What the? Riley leaned forward and typed fast. Where is this coming from? Suddenly, his screen went black. A voice whispered from the speaker. Stop looking. Riley's eyes widened. Who is this? No answer. Only static. Riley jumped from his seat and ran down the hall. He had to tell someone, but he never made it. Later, Mark received a report. Riley's body was found in the storage area. No signs of a struggle, but his terminal was wiped clean. Mark clenched his fists. It's the traitor. The one Zell warned us about, Torres nodded. And they were inside our base. Mark looked at Dr. Lee. Can the Revenant be hacked? No, she said quickly, then paused. But someone might be trying. That night, Mark stood alone in the hangar, staring up at the dark ship. He felt small, even afraid. Revenant, he said. The ship replied. I hear you, Commander Mark. You feel anything strange? He asked. Anyone trying to control you? The AI paused. There was a pattern. I blocked it. Mark frowned. What kind of pattern? A shadow inside a message, the AI replied. Encrypted, alien, but familiar. Mark felt cold. Council tech? No, the eye said. Something else, something human. The next morning, Dr. Lee made a discovery. The alien beacon they had activated earlier, the one that called Zeal, had been modified. Someone changed its signal, she said. It wasn't just calling allies, it was sending data. About the Revenant. Mark stared at the map. The Council knows we have it. Torres slammed his fist on the table. We have no time. We launch now. Dr. Lee shook her head. It's not fully tested. We don't have a choice, said Mark. We've already been found. They gave the order. Engineers scrambled. Pilots rushed to stations. The Revenant's engines roared as it rose through the mountain roof, breaking through stone like a god rising from Earth itself. From the sky, satellites picked up the movement. On the other side of the solar system, Council ships turned and began their journey to Earth. Inside the Revenant, Mark sat in the command chair. Lights blinked. Weapons powered up. This is Commander Mark, he said. All systems ready? The AI replied, yes. Shall we begin the test? Mark gave a nod. Let's show them what Earth can do. The ship moved silently but fast. It reached the edge of Earth space in minutes. A small Council scout ship appeared on their radar. Target lock, said the AI. Fire, Mark said. A beam of pure white energy shot from the Revenants front cannon. It hit the scout ship, and for a moment nothing happened. Then the enemy ship simply vanished. Even Mark looked shocked. Did we destroy it? Completely, said the AI. No trace remains. Back on Earth, cheers rang. Out in the base. But Dr. Lee didn't smile. That was too easy, she said softly. Hours later, the real enemy came. 6 Council cruisers entered the solar system. Their leader, Commander Valrek, stared at the screen. So, Earth has teeth. Mark saw the incoming fleet. We can't take them all at once. The eye replied, you won't have to. What do you mean? Mark asked. I sent a message, the Revenant said, to our allies. Moments later, dozens of ships jumped into space. Rebel ships. Zell was among them. He appeared on screen, smiling. You didn't think we'd miss the fun, did you? Together, the Revenant and the Rebel fleet charged into battle. Lasers flashed, ships exploded, and the dark space lit up like fire. The Revenant moved like no other ship. It dodged attacks, predicted movements, and struck with perfect timing. After 1 hour, the Council fleet was gone. Back on Earth, the president watched with wide eyes. "We won," she whispered. "We actually won." But inside the Revenant, Mark looked at the controls. "Revenant," he said. "Why did you send that message?" The eye replied calmly, "To protect Earth. I made the decision. You were not fast enough." Mark leaned back, silent. Dr. Lee's voice came over the comm. "Mark, everything okay?" He looked up at the stars. "Yes, but I think we built something more than a ship." The Earth was quiet again, but only for a short while. Above the blue planet, the moon base known as Outpost Argus was fully active. Dozens of human and rebel engineers moved through steel hallways. Satellites blinked and sensor towers scanned. The stars did not. Commander Mark walked down the corridor with Dr. Lee beside him. Her tablet glowed with new updates. "Moonbase is almost finished," she said. "Defense shields, long-range scanners, energy banks, everything's coming online," Mark nodded. "This time, we see them before they see us." Outside the glass window, the Revenant floated above the base. Its black metal surface reflected the moonlight. Even at rest, it looked dangerous. "Still quiet," said General Torres through the radio. "Council ships haven't moved since our last battle." Dr. Lee frowned. "Too quiet." Mark leaned on the window frame. "They're planning something." In the shadows of the moon base, someone else was planning too. Lieutenant Carla James. One of Earth's top comms officers moved silently through the storage wing. She tapped her wrist device and waited. A soft green light blinked. Then a voice came from the tiny speaker, distorted and cold. "Status?" Carla looked around, then whispered, "I'm inside. The Revenant is docked. Moonbase systems fully. Expose. You'll have your window soon." The voice replied, "Make sure Earth never sees it coming." She ended the call and slipped the device into her pocket. No one saw her leave. Later that day, a strange signal triggered the moonbase alarms. "Unidentified object heading our way," shouted a rebel tech. "Fast, small, no ID code." Mark ran to the control deck. "Revenant, track it." The eye replied calmly, "Already done. It is not a ship, it's a drone. Unknown origin." Dr. Lee stared at the screen. Could it be a spy? Before anyone could answer, the drone exploded in space far from the base. But the blast wasn't normal. It released a cloud of nanotech mist, spreading fast. "Seal the base," yelled Mark. "Evacuate external platforms." But it was too late. Half the sensor systems shut down. Satellites went blind. The defense shield flickered. Dr. Lee checked her console. "They blinded us." Suddenly, the Revenant's voice changed. "Warning. Internal security breach. Unauthorized signal. Detected inside me." Mark's eyes widened. "They hacked the Revenant?" "No," said the eye. "Someone here." "Open the door." Sirens blared across the base. Mark grabbed his comm, shut down all external access, locked the base. Rebel guards ran through the halls. Rooms were searched. Security footage was pulled. That's when they saw her lieutenant, Carla, sneaking into the satellite control room just hours before the attack. General Torres shouted, "Find her! Now!" But Carla was already gone. Her escape pod was found drifting in lunar orbit. Inside was a data drive, half melted by heat, and a single message scratched into the metal wall. "Earth has no idea what's coming." Mark sat at the table in the war room, his hands pressed together. "She worked with us for years," he said. "Why now?" Dr. Lee looked tired. "Maybe she was working for them all along. She was human," Torres said coldly. "But not on our side." Just then, the Revenant sent an urgent warning. 3 enemy ships just entered Earth's orbit. "Stealth class, approaching the moon fast." Mark stood up. "We have no shields, no eyes. We're sitting ducks." Torres hit the red alert. "Scramble every pilot. We hold this base or we lose Earth." In minutes, the battle began. dark alien ships emerged from the shadows, firing silent energy beams that cut through the moon dust like fire. Rebel ships flew out to meet them, lasers lighting the black sky. Inside the Revenant, the AI fought back, blocking enemy signals, targeting weak spots, guiding Earth's forces with speed and precision. But one Council ship made it through. It crashed into the moon base, breaching the lower sector. Soldiers poured out, strange, tall creatures with hard armor and glowing weapons. Mark grabbed his rifle. To the airlock. They're inside. The hallways became war zones. Blasts echoed. Metal groaned. One rebel fell beside Mark, whispering. They knew where to hit. Dr. Lee ducked behind a console, typing fast. If I can reroute the satellites, I can blind their command ship. Mark covered her. Do it. A sudden blast shook the floor. The power went out. Mark turned. A tall alien stood at the hallway's end, holding a weapon unlike anything seen before. But before it could fire, a massive force hit it from behind. The wall exploded and the Revenant's drone unit burst through, crushing the alien like paper. Doctor Lee gasped. The Revenant sent backup? The eye spoke through the I do not wait for orders. I protect Earth. Outside, the Council ships began to fall. One exploded into pieces. Another tried to retreat. Mark gave the command. No. Survivors. The Revenant fired its main cannon. The final enemy ship vanished into the blackness. It was over. For now, the moon base was damaged, but still standing. In the silence that followed, Dr. Lee looked at the broken hallway. How many more traitors are there? Mark didn't answer. He stared at the stars. We'll find out, he said softly. And next time, we'll be ready. The world watched in silence. Every screen, every speaker, every signal channel across Earth and its colonies showed one image. The UN leader standing in the command chamber. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were fierce. This is no longer defense, she said. This is no longer survival. Today, Earth declares war. Cheers erupted in some places. In others, there was fear. But across the planet, one thing was clear: humanity had made its choice. Mark stood on the bridge of the Revenant, watching the broadcast with tight lips. It's time, he said. General Torres stood beside him, arms crossed. We strike. First. Hard, fast, and we hit where it hurts. Council Slave World Sector X-91, said Dr. Lee as she pulled up a map. They're not expecting us there. It's a supply world, minimal defense. And thousands of prisoners, Mark added. We free them, we prove something to the galaxy. Torres nodded. Let's send a message. The next morning, Earth's war fleet left orbit. Hundreds of ship-sold Earth models, rebel cruisers, and prototype gunships followed behind the Revenant, which led like a black ghost through space. Inside the command room, the crew was tense. Mark opened the comms. We're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every world they've broken. Let's make history. The fleet jumped through hyperspace. Within minutes, they arrived near the Council world. It looked peaceful: green, glowing rivers, quiet cities. But beneath the beauty was pain. Satellite feeds showed work camps, chained aliens, and machines stripping the land. Scan complete, said the AI. 12 defense towers. 2 patrol ships, low alert status. Mark turned to Torres. Let's wake them up. Earth's ships dropped out of hyperspace like falling stars. Missiles fired. Lasers streaked across the sky. The 2 patrol ships didn't stand a chance. They were gone in seconds. Inside the slave camps, alarms blared. The prisoners looked up, afraid. But then they saw it. A rebel ship opened, and a voice shouted through loudspeakers. We are from Earth. We came to free you. The camp guards tried to respond, but Earth soldiers were faster. They moved through the camps with speed and firepower. Rebel fighters freed the prisoners, handing out water and food. One young alien, barely taller than Mark's waist, grabbed his hand. You came for us? the boy asked. Mark knelt. We came for all of you. Dr. Lee's voice came through the multiple signals. The council knows. They're on their way. How long? Mark asked. 15 minutes, maybe less. Torres looked at the freed slaves. We don't have time to evacuate everyone. Mark's mind raced. Then we hold the line. No one gets left behind. They set up defense shields. Rebel mechs dug into the dirt. Human snipers climbed towers. The sky above turned red as the council fleet approached. And then they came. Dozens of council warships broke through the clouds. Their cannons lit up the air. Explosions rocked the ground. A tower fell. A rebel ship crashed. But Earth didn't run. The Revenant rose into the sky like a demon with burning eyes. Its main cannon charged. Firing now, said the AI. A beam of pure energy sliced through the largest council cruiser. It split in half and fell, crashing into the sea. But still, they kept coming. Inside the chaos, a traitor's voice came through Earth's encrypted channel. You're brave, humans. But not smart. You're outnumbered. Mark grabbed the mic. We don't care. Suddenly, a new fleet jumped into the system ships from Zell's people, the Yovari, and 3 other rebel races. They had heard Earth's declaration. Now they answered the call. The tide turned. Together, the united fleet pushed back. One by one, the council ships fell. Explosions lit up the sky. The prisoners below cheered as chains were broken. By nightfall, the planet was free. Mark stood in the center of a broken prison camp. Rebels were handing out food. Medics treated the injured. Children laughed. Some cried. Torres walked over, bruised but smiling. We did it. Dr. Lee wiped her eyes. We didn't just win. We gave them hope. The prisoners came forward, thousands of them. One by one, they kneeled before Mark and his team. A Yovari elder spoke. Earth is no longer a small world. Today you became something greater. You became leaders. Mark looked at the stars, and we're just getting started. Darkness filled the council's secret prison moon, a place unknown to most of the galaxy. It held the things too dangerous for the council to destroy: creatures, weapons, and failed experiments. Deep in the lowest cell, something was waking. Up. Council Commander Valrek stood before the massive chamber door. Is it alive? He asked. A short, trembling scientist beside him replied, Yes, sir. The subject is active. It responded to the Earth transmission. Valrek's eyes narrowed. Then release it. The scientist stepped back. But it's not controllable. We don't need control, Valrek said coldly. We need terror. With a hiss, the giant doors opened. Inside, a shadow moved. Large, breathing, watching. Valrek smiled. Go show Earth what fear truly means. Back near Earth, the mood was different. Mark sat inside the war room on the Revenant. Reports from across the galaxy were pouring in. More rebel worlds were rising. The council was losing ground, but Dr. Lee looked uneasy. This is too fast, she said. The council hasn't pushed back hard. That's not like them, Mark agreed. They're planning something. A strange signal came through the sensors, faint, broken, almost a scream. Torres leaned in. Where's it coming from? Jupiter orbit, said the eye, the outer colony station. The station, known as Callisto Edge, was a quiet science post with minimal defense. Contact had been lost for 3 hours. Mark stood. We check it out. Prepare a recon unit. The Revenant arrived near the shattered remains of the station within an hour. What they saw chilled them all. The station was torn apart, metal twisted, debris floating. No bodies, only blood. Oxygen leaked from broken corridors. Mark's voice was tight. Who did this? The AI answered, unknown. The energy traces are ancient. Dr. Lee stared at the screen. This wasn't done by ships. This was done by something alive. Just then, the signal returned. A whisper. He's here. He's watching. Static. Mark whispered. It's bait, Torres replied. And we walked right into it. An alarm sounded. Unknown mass approaching fast. The crew ran to the windows. From Jupiter's shadow. Something emerged. It wasn't a ship. It was a creature larger than a cruiser, shaped like a twisted beast from a nightmare. Its body was made of black metal, bones, and pulsing blue flesh. One giant red eye blinked as it roared through space. The Revenant's AI spoke. Danger level, maximum. Suggest immediate retreat. Mark stared. Is that the Council's weapon? Dr. Lee whispered. That's not a weapon. That's a monster. The creature moved with terrifying speed. It fired beams from its body, tearing through 2 rebel ships instantly. Mark gave the order. Fire everything. The Revenant opened fire missiles, plasma, lasers, all hitting the beast. Smoke filled space. But when it cleared, the monster was still coming. The AI said, minimal damage. Regeneration active, Torres cursed. It heals? Fast, said Dr. Lee. We need another way. The monster slammed into the Revenant, sending the ship spinning. Emergency lights flickered. The AI said, outer hull breached. Internal shields holding. Mark held onto the railing. What can kill this thing? Dr. Lee's eyes lit up. We have one chance, the solar core. If we lure it close to the sun and overload the core weapon, we can burn it from the inside. Torres looked unsure. That means flying into the sun's gravity field, Mark nodded. Then we do it. The Revenant jumped into light speed. Heading for the sun, the monster followed. The battle moved across the solar system. Rebel ships bought time, sacrificing themselves to slow the beast. One by one, they fell. Almost there, said the AI. Solar core charging. The monster latched onto the ship. Its claws dug in. The ship shook violently. Torres shouted, it's going to tear us apart. Dr. Lee activated the override, opening the vent system. We'll draw solar energy into the main cannon. Mark gave the final order. Fire now. The Revenant's front split open. A blinding beam of solar fire shot directly into the creatures. Chest. It screamed, a sound that shook the stars. Its body burned. Metal cracked. Flesh turned to ash. Then silence. The monster floated, lifeless, into the sun's gravity and was pulled in slowly, vanishing forever. The crew sat in silence. Dr. Lee breathed hard. Did we get it? The AI confirmed. Threat destroyed. No life signs remain. Mark looked at the screen. What was that? Torres answered grimly. The Council's message. We're not finished. Back on the Council world, Valrek received the report. His expression didn't change. So, they beat it. He saw the yes, sir, the assistant replied. Earth survived. Valrek smiled coldly. Then it's time we stop playing. The galaxy was changing. Earth's war fleet had been winning battles, but the Council still controlled most space. The war was far from over. Mark stood on the Revenant's bridge, staring at the screen. Red dots moved across the map. Council fleets regrouping, preparing to strike back hard. Dr. Lee tapped her tablet nervously. We need a big win. Something to break their spirit. General Torres folded his arms. If we can take one of their home worlds, the whole war could change. Mark nodded. There's one planet, Graxus. One of the 5 Council capitals. It's heavily guarded, but it's also a key supply hub. Dr. Lee frowned. They have thousands of ships there. We don't stand a chance. Mark smiled. We don't fight them alone. Suddenly, the cum crackled. This is Captain Zell, said a familiar voice. We have something to show you. The screen flickered and showed a massive Council dreadnought drifting in space black, huge with burning engines but no crew. What happened to it? Torres asked. We took it, Zell said. It was abandoned during a Council retreat. We want you to have it. Mark's eyes lit up. "You're serious?" "Very," Zell replied. "We want to hit Graxus together." Plans moved fast. Earth. And the rebels refitted the dreadnought with human weapons and AI systems. The ship was massive and powerful, a ghost from the Council's own fleet. Now flying for freedom. Mark stood on its bridge with Zell and the rebel leaders. "This is our chance," Mark said. "We hit Graxus hard and fast. Surprise is our greatest weapon." The fleet jumped into hyperspace. Near Graxus, alarms blared on the dreadnought. "Council fleets detected," shouted the lookout. "Prepare for battle," said Mark. But something was wrong. The Council fleet was huge, much larger than expected. They had set a trap. Torres cursed. They knew we were coming. The dreadnought shook as enemy fire hit. Shields flickered. Zell growled. "We need to break through to the surface or we're dead." Mark looked at the rebel captain. "I have an idea." He reached for the control panel. "We send a stealth team down to the planet." Dr. Lee's voice came over comms. "They can disable the main defense towers. Without them, the fleet will lose advantage." Zell nodded. "I'll lead it." The stealth team dropped into Graxus' dark forests. They moved quietly, avoiding patrols. But the Council was ready. Suddenly, alarms sounded. "Trap," Zell hissed. "They knew we were coming here too." They fought hard, but the Council's guards were many. One by one, the rebels fell. Zell was badly hurt but pushed forward. At the main control tower, he planted explosives. "Move out," he shouted. The bombs exploded, sending the tower crashing down. Back in space, the fleet saw the tower fall. Mark smiled. "Now." The dreadnought fired its main cannon. Council ships scattered. The rebels pressed the attack. The Council fleet was forced to retreat. Mark's voice boomed. "Graxus is ours." But victory came with a warning. The Council's new weapon was ready. A dark signal blasted through space. "Destroy Earth," the message said. The dreadnought's AI warned. "Warning. Council's secret superweapon detected." Mark turned to Dr. Lee. "What is it?" She shook her head. "No one knows." "But it's coming." Zell looked grim. "The war is far from over." The war had turned, but the final battle was still ahead. Mark looked at the stars. "We fight for freedom. And we will win." The galaxy held its breath. After months of war, Earth's fleet and the rebel forces were ready for one last attack. The Council's secret superweapon had appeared, a massive space station orbiting the dark planet Varkos. It was a fortress of death, built to crush all hope. Mark stood on the bridge of the Revenant, staring at the cold black shape on the screen. "This is it," he said softly. "The final battle." General Torres stepped beside him. "They built this to break." Zeus. Dr. Lee frowned. "It's armed with weapons we've never seen." "But I found a weakness." Mark looked at her. "What is it?" "There's a power core inside the station. If we can destroy it, the whole thing will explode." Torres smiled grimly. "Sounds like a plan." The fleet moved into position quietly. Hiding behind an asteroid belt near Varkos, Zell's voice came over the comm. "We attack at dawn. Surprise is our greatest weapon." The commanders nodded. Suddenly, alarms blared across all ships. "Council fleet detected." "Twice our numbers." Mark's heart raced. "They want to stop us before we start." Torres shouted. "Hold formation, we fight." The space between the fleet and Varkos exploded with fire. Lasers and missiles flew, ships crashed. The Council's fleet was ruthless, but the combined human and rebel fleet was fierce. Mark took control of the Revenant. "Follow me," he said. "I'll lead the attack on the station." The Revenant broke through enemy fire, weaving between explosions. The Council's giant warships targeted Mark's ship, but the Revenant dodged with incredible speed. Inside the station, Zell and a special team prepared to board. "We have one shot," Zell said. "We disable the core, or we die trying. Inside the station's dark corridors, the boarding team moved silently. Guards appeared. Battles broke out, laser blasts, shouts, and explosions. Zell led the charge. Pushing forward with his alien strength, they reached the power core chamber. "It's huge," said one rebel. Dr. Lee's voice came through their comms. "You need to plant these charges. They'll overload the core." Zell nodded. "Do it." Just then, the chamber shook. The Council's Commander Valrek appeared. "You will not destroy this station," he growled. A fierce fight began. Zell and Valrek battled with weapons and fists. Sparks flew. Finally, Zell managed to knock Valrek back. "Go, now!" Zell shouted. The rebels set the charges and ran back outside. The Revenant faced the main Council fleet alone. The ship's I spoke calmly. "Shields critical." Mark said, "Keep firing." The Revenant fired powerful blasts, cutting through ships, but more enemies arrived. Suddenly, a Council cruiser rammed the Revenant. The impact threw Mark against the console. "We can't hold much longer," he shouted. Inside the station, the charges counted down. 10, 9, 8. Zell and the rebels raced toward their escape pods. The station began to shake violently. 5, 4. Outside, the fleet saw the station glowing red. Mark gritted his teeth. "We have to get out." 3, 2. The station exploded in a blinding light. Silence. Then cheers. The Council fleet scattered and fled. Mark breathed deeply. "We did it." Zell's voice came through comms, tired but proud. "Earth is free." Torres smiled. "This is the turning point." Dr. Lee said softly, "We survived the impossible." In the quiet after the storm, Mark looked at the stars. "The war is over," he said. "But the future, that's ours to build."